This is the Barbados Today afternoon news for Wednesday, June 14. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Claire Williams. The international business sector says it will pressure government for an exemption from the controversial 10% National Social Responsibility Levy. The measure will take effect on July 1, but the Barbados International Business Association says the steep increase announced in this year's budget will make the sector uncompetitive. BIBA President Gregory McConney says in the association's June newsletter that the 10% levy will have a significant impact on international imports. Last week, the National Union of Public Workers threatened industrial action if government does not repeal the tax or introduce a coping subsidy for public servants. But Finance Minister Chris Sinclair has defended the taxes, saying the alternative would be significant public sector job cuts. And the Barbados Labour Party's candidate for St. James South, Sandra Husbands, is describing the fiscal package as heartless. And she's also warning that the budget will set off a social time bomb. Effective July 1st, the National Social Responsibility Levy will be increased from 2 to 10%, and a 2% tax will be imposed on all foreign exchange transactions. Husbands says the $542 million austerity package is an indication that Sinclair does not understand how the Barbados economy really works. She's also the former president of the Small Business Association, and she cautions that the measures will lead to the demise of the small business sector. In other news, Tourism Minister Richard Seeley wants regional airline LIAT to be more efficient. Seeley's call comes on the heels of a crippling strike by LIAT pilots last week over pay. Shareholder governments have formed 2 committees to ensure that the airline stays in business. And Seeley says problems at the company are getting serious attention from the shareholders.
We have to get our act together and be more efficient in how we operate, and of course those items are being addressed, and we're not doing it in any top-down approach. The committee that was agreed to be established will have participation from all the stakeholders. The Caribbean Development Bank are also central to that whole situation. The CDB is, of course, providing the financing for the refleeting, the new ATR aircraft that we have.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Morning, Miss Oya.
Morning. You again. So you're washing cars now? Well, I can't keep up with you at all.
Yes, girl. You know they're going to provision to selling slow. And I don't sell nation newspapers at all because them don't sell. So I washing cars now. I like to get up before 8:30 because I can't take the hot sun. You want the car wash?
No, not today. It clean.
But you're going in very early though?
Yeah, I just going early so I can read the Barbados Today online before work starts.
Right. But you can still let me clean the vendor for the $2. At least it's still cheaper than the nation newspaper.
All right.
I got a special boo here that I got it shiny. Thank you. Enjoy your day here.
You too.
All right. What that paper is? She can see clearly when the dirt is gone.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back now with news from the region. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chasney has been meeting with representatives from the European Union to discuss various matters of national security and criminal justice. One of the top agenda items was the impacts investigation into alleged extrajudicial killings. We get more in this report from HTS News.
The EU ambassador to Barbados and the OECS, Her Excellency Daniela Tamacheri, says the Union has provided support to St. Lucia in a number of areas, including agriculture, post-disaster aid, health and justice. She says the EU has been closely monitoring developments of the investigation into the 2010-2011 alleged extrajudicial killings, and representatives were satisfied to learn of some of the measures being taken post-impacts report.
We have received strong reassurance that the due process is taking place. We have listened very carefully to what the DPP has told us, and we are looking forward to seeing further developments in the good direction in the future. We are confident that recommendations have been followed so far. Of course, the process is not complete, but we came here also to see what the progress has been so far, and we are somehow reassured that measures have been taken, and we are looking forward to seeing the further completion of this process.
Prime Minister Alan Chasney says while it was a regular meeting with the Europeans, it was an opportunity to discuss some of the most pressing issues facing the criminal justice and healthcare systems.
On the international scene, at least 6 people died after a fire engulfed a 24-story tower block in London overnight. Eyewitnesses described people trapped in the burning Grenfell Tower in North Kensington, screaming for help. Police say there may be more people in the building who are unaccounted for. One eyewitness described the scene to BBC.
Around 1 o'clock, or a bit past 1 o'clock, we were awoken by the fire, specifically sounds of people shouting, "Help, help, fire, fire." And we looked out the window. I'm visiting relatives in the Ladbroke Grove area, and we could see clearly the tower block, Grenfell Tower, fully aflame on one side of the building, and all the way from the bottom to the top, just on one side of it. And we watched as that fire moved across the building, and we heard sirens, of course, as the emergency services flew past us to get there. We've seen some evidence of life, people blinking lights and things like that within the building. And as your correspondent said, there is a hydraulic platform that has gone up towards what could be an area of the building where there are people actively inside. We saw a person just about 45 minutes ago on the 11th floor standing at the window with his hand or her hand up to her ear, perhaps on the phone.
And finally, a gunman opened fire on Republican members of Congress during a baseball practice near Washington this morning. Several people were wounded, including senior Republican leader Steve Scalise, and the gunman was taken into custody. Police Chief Michael Brown told reporters 5 people were transported from the scene in Alexandria. 2 police officers who were on the scene were also among the wounded. Scalise's office says he is in stable condition and undergoing surgery. That's news at this hour. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can find us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or Screenplay at gas stations near you. We are also on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Mary Claire Williams. Have a good afternoon.